call Stephen Kerr. Mr Kerr.
From these benches that says that we can't agree occasionally with Willie Rennie. And I agreed with him about the use of old technology, books. The idea that we would have books in our classrooms again, or in our homes. I think that's a great idea. I hope it catches on. I hope this new old technology thing really takes off in a big way. I love books. And I agree with Brian Whittle about banning things. I mean, I am incredibly reluctant to talk about banning anything, because I'm afraid this Parliament's reputation is if it's not taxing things, it's banning things. And frankly, I don't think that enhances the reputation of our Parliament. But there are some situations where we need to take cognizance of what the realities are in relation to the power of new technology. And it is a power. And Brian Whittle's also right when he says that we do need to teach each other, indeed, and the younger generations, the rising generations, about the power of this new technology and how to harness it and use it to their benefit. I think that was a very useful contribution, as ever, from Brian Whittle, and inevitably he introduced us to the world of sport as well. But this is not really a debate in my mind about preference or guidance anymore. It's about whether or not we're prepared to act in the face of clear and growing evidence that mobile phones are damaging the learning environment in our schools. And in Scotland, we've chosen to rely on local discretion, and that may sound sensible, and I understand the attraction of that course of action, but in practice it has meant inconsistency, uncertainty, and not nearly enough backing for teachers on the ground. Meanwhile, the situation in classrooms has moved on. The Scottish Government's own research identifies mobile phones as a significant and growing source of disruption. Teachers are dealing with constant interruptions, fractured attention, and time lost to managing behaviour that should not be an issue in the first place. And that matters because every moment lost to distraction is a moment taken away from learning. And standards do not slip overnight. They erode gradually, lesson by lesson, when focus is no longer protected. So let's be clear about what we're asking schools to compete with. These are not neutral tools. They are devices designed to capture our attention. I don't need to tell MSPs about the captive powers of a mobile phone. We see it every moment in this chamber. The ability to put Douglas Lumsden just put his down, which I think is a very good thing. They are designed to interrupt. They are designed to keep young people, in fact, any people, engaged elsewhere. And it's simply not reasonable to expect teachers to win that battle on their own. Other countries have recognised that and have acted decisively across Europe and beyond. National restrictions are now commonplace. Where phones have been removed from the school day, the results are consistent. Improved focus, calmer classrooms, better behaviour. And we can see the same here in Scotland, where schools and councils have taken firm action. And ministers know, because I've heard the Cabinet Secretary on this subject, they know there's a problem. They say so. But they have, for some strange reason, chosen not to act in a national direction. So the question is straightforward. Do we continue with the fragmented approach that leaves teachers to carry the burden, or do we provide the clarity, the authority, the backup that a national position would bring? A Scotland-wide ban with clear, sensible exemptions, because they will need to exist, would do exactly that. It would set a consistent standard, back our teachers, restore the classroom as a place where attention is given to learning and not to a screen for some other purpose. Presiding officer, this is about leadership, it's about standards, it's about whether we're serious about giving every child the environment they need to succeed. The case is made, the evidence is there, the time to act is now. If this is to be my last contribution in the Scottish Parliament, I'm delighted it was on a subject that will matter so much to the future of our country.
Thank you, Mr Kerr. And I now call on